Now, making a documentary is, great to highlight certain subject matter and something that people may not know about, but you can also tell a story to really get a message across. And you've won an award for best message. So tell us
Right.
your approach to that, or was it something that was discovered, or was it something that you knew going in?
So I believe like when you go into documentaries, you should know a little bit before you jump right in. I don't think I would recommend ever going in blind. So yeah, I did know about. Geronimo in Flight is about a veterinarian named Kate, and she really delves into mental health and something called compassion fatigue, which is in a lot of medical professions. And it's just being weighed down by a lot of the really difficult things that medical professionals have to go through,
Mm.
a lot to do with death. And so she talks about having this release by using aerial acrobatics to cope with the things that she goes through, but then also as a way to stay healthy, physically and emotionally. And then with Geronimo Circus Trash Monster, she was always this very artsy type. She was always into acro yoga and circus arts. And essentially, after a lot of, you know, significant events happen in her life, she moves to Kensington, Philadelphia, which is kind of an impoverished area. And there's a lot of trash and on the streets. And she felt so inspired to just clean up the her space, and make the kids in the neighborhood like have a better life by using her circus arts skills to clean up the neighborhood and empower the children to not only clean the neighborhood but learn like a new skill. And both those stories are so strong and resolute in, you know, making a change within yourself, but then also to the people around you. And I think that sometimes change seems really difficult and far, like unreachable for us. It seems like something that would take a really long time, or I just can't do. I just don't have the financial space for it. And these women showed that, despite what is happening in your life, like you can make small incremental changes to your life to make your life better and the people around you, happier and better. And I think that was really important to me during it. It was really inspirational. And I think I go back to it whenever I feel kind of down and feel like I don't know if my life is going exactly how I want it to, but there's nothing I can do about it. And then I go back to that and I'm like, yeah, there is. I can totally. I just saw two other people do it. Like, I can totally make a change in my life. And I think that's what I've been seeing in a lot of festivals when people say like they really loved it. I, somebody actually said like, watching this made me want to be a better person.
Wow.
And it's just that spark that, and it's only like a 9-minute film, and it's just people can be inspired by the smallest things of being like, they can do it, so can I. And so I'm very, very happy that I could put it together and put it out there.
No, that's great. And a lot of times you see humans kind of have this, I don't want to say herd mentality, but something where, okay, well, if everybody else isn't doing it, then I won't do it. Or, I'd want to do this, but I don't know. But then you see somebody else doing it. You see a leader, someone that you can almost not just emulate, but someone that inspires you. And then you
Right.
discover, yeah, that's not so hard at all.
Exactly. And it's just small steps. And like, even I think it's really easy to feel like we're very insignificant
Yeah.
and life is just how it is. And that is just one of the steps, like just watching somebody else is just one of the steps for you to say to yourself, like, there's nothing stopping me except for me. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, we often hold ourselves back.
Right. Um,
And now, so you've been to a couple film festivals, and I assume you've received some feedback in either a Q&A session or just from people coming up to talk to you. What's that like to feel like you've made a difference in them, and how do people respond to you?
a lot of people are so overjoyed in seeing something so positive. Um, I find that in a lot of independent films, a lot of them are pretty sad or of serious subject matter, and that's fine. And, we have to tell those stories. I feel like there's a need to, we can't just only show happy things. We have to show the serious things. But I personally just wanted to, especially like now, but in the last couple of years, like things are progressively more serious, and it's just really nice to have that one beacon of light of being like, it's not all bad, and it won't always be this bad, and we can always somehow get better. So,
And that's kind of how movies started out, didn't they? It was just, here's some moving images, but to
right,
detract from the Great Depression and everything else, it's like, well, hey, here's some fun. Here's
right,
something new, and I think to continually give people the same thing, they either get tired, they get some kind of fatigue over it.
right.
So I definitely agree. Every time I've been to a film festival and there's been like a film with a happy message, like it's always stuck out
Right.
because I think
I
people are very like, oh yeah, stuff sucks, so I'm gonna show how bad it is, and maybe people will feel better because their life isn't that bad, but there's another
right.
direction.
I think also happy films are harder to do while also not being cliche and
Yeah,
cheesy.
because it's got to feel earned. It's got to feel real. It's got to feel like it exists in this world, and it's not just a complete fiction.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the worst of the worst. It doesn't have to be over the top happy and nothing ever bad happens to your character, but just something that feels lighter, more uplifting, that it can be possible. It doesn't mean it's always going to be a happy ending, but there is now. There's a peace, basically.